Think like a king. You know, what does that even mean? Well, a king is unique. If you think about an emperor, often we think of emperors and they had bloodshed and fought for their territory and had to take something, because often emperors didn't inherit what they got, they had to fight for it. But actually, we're in the kingdom. And so if we're going to think like our King of Kings, that he's delegated his dominion and authority to us, then we're going to have to recognise that we've got to think like a king. What does that mean? They're born into the kingdom. They don't have to fight for it. It's gifted to them. So they recognise that they have a unique purpose. For a big part of their life, they're trained and developed. So when the time is right, it's given to them, the authority, and then their objective is to do the very best by the people that they serve. Imagine if we had an army of people that recognised that God had a purpose for them, and their purpose was primarily in the marketplace, remembering that only 2% of a church community will ever work for a church or a Christian-based organisation. But 98% of them are going to go into the marketplace. If they're just going to a job, if they're just an employee, they're going to miss their purpose. But actually, they would wake up on a Monday after being inspired on a Sunday to go into the marketplace as a marketplace minister. This book is designed to help people to change thinking. I'm on the earth to buy influence for God's sake. I'm on the earth to make him famous, to bring glory to his name. But I'm also on earth to raise resources so we truly can bring change to cities, bring change to nations, and recognise that he said, ask of me and I'll give the nations, and truly see them won for the purposes of Christ. So today, if you're about to pick up this book that I've written, I would love you to recognise, go into it with the thought, okay, I'm open to change. Because if you're not thinking like a king, you're not going to step into all he has for you. But if you learn to think like a king, a whole world opens up that you've never seen. And today I hope this inspires you to be all that you were purposed to be. Think like a king. So as well as a book, it's really important to understand that we want this to become a central point for building communities that liberate people. So local churches could do studies. We're going to come up with a study guide, both for the leader but also study books to help people go through the chapters and understand how it can bring change. Because we know change doesn't happen by just reading a book. It's actually got to be discussed. There's got to be prayer. There's got to be opportunities to talk about how it applies to our city, our nation, our suburb, our area. So please understand that this is going to start a journey. If you're a pastor watching, you could use this book to actually start a business ministry. If you're a leader in a church, you could use this to shift mindset so that people aren't thinking that church is really their outlet and their spiritual side, but work is just where they go to earn an income. We want to change the fabric of what we think about when we think of the marketplace. You know, it's important that we look in history and recognise that the church was often central to how culture was shaped. Because obviously our Christian ideology helps us to recognise that, hey, we need good healthcare systems. Hey, we need education. Hey, we need to help people recognise that enterprise must be established. It's all through the Bible. So it's time for us to recognise that there is a prescriptive plan that God has, and I hope this book starts a journey of bringing change to churches all over the world to liberate you to think like a king.